Let's see how optional is a game changer and how it can clean up your code. So now here in practice we can see how optional is working. That we introduce a new variable which is type string. We name it maybe null or maybe value equal to optional dot. So here we have different methods that we can use. I want to use of what? Of something, of some value that we know which is not null, like hello world. So now we can print this with system.out.print. We can use so if I want to get the value, I can use method get. But the point is that we know that this variable has value. So if we are not sure if the value, if this variable has value or no, there's another approach that we can use. We can use maybe value that if present. So you can see we have different if present. The first one, we can just pass a consumer functional interface to if the value is present, so we can have some action. Like, so what I want to do, I want to print the value of string. So in this way I can print the value of these variables, easy. So but we had another method. I'll try to use mtf. So here I want to use another method which you saw before was empty. So here explicitly we introduce a method which is value which is empty. When we use empty, when in some cases, in some methods we want to return empty value, but in normal situation, when you want to get something from this empty variables, so you would have a null pointer exception. But we can use the same approach that we use if present. If it is present, so I can use lambda expression here, e, then system.out, e, yeah. I can print the value of empty variable, but the point is that we know that it is empty. But again, it is safe using optional because we wrap the empty, even empty value, and then we are not going to surprise in the middle of our code or running our code in production. So if I want to run this code, I have nothing, no exception, no value, because there is no value. But I would like to talk about ofNullable method here. So I prepared an example here. You can see we have person, a class of person with name and age, and here I have a repository, a person repository, but in practice it you have to read from the database. But now for this example I wanted to just create a method and show you how ofNullable works in optional and how we can use optional as a return value of a method, public method which returns a person. In this method we want to get a person by, we want to return a person by name. So we send a string of which is name to this method, and yeah, in reality you have to return the value from the database. So but here as an example I just want to create a person equal new person, and just name it John as an example, and 25 as age, and then I can return this person. That's all. And here in the main method I'm going to create an instance of repository. I just equal to repository, person repository. So now just name it repo. Now I just get a person by name from the database, which is John. It won't make any difference if you just put J, because we have just the prepared object and send it back. I'll try to save it in a person, and then I just print it person dot get age. So now, as you can see, we have age without any issue, but in reality we have to first check if person is not null, then do something, or sorry, then we can just print the person, else do something else, like for example here I just print person with name J not found. Yeah, so now I can run this code. We can have age here, but if I here if assume the person is null and we send return null, in that case, as you can see, the code handle everything and we have correct message without any null pointer exception. But where is the point of using optional here? So optional meant to just clean this part of the code and have clean and maintainable code and get rid of these null checks. So we return an optional person, and here we can wrap the person, the value, the object that we want to return into ofNullable of person. So here we wrap the person in an optional ofNullable, kind of inside the box, and here we have to get value into an optional of person, and here we have to use get to get the value. But the point is, using this get or don't use it is the same if there is a null. Since we are checking null, everything here is safe now. But if we get rid of this null checks and if we use get and here we return null as a person, again you would have exception, which is not nice. So let's see, no such element exception. Assume here we send back a person, wrap it in optional. Here we use some methods of optional like if present, do something, if present or else. Or now I want to use or else here. I want a person here, P, for example P. If a person is null, I want to return new person, a kind of default value. John and age 25. So we return a default value if person is not present. But we have another method here which we can use. Person or exception. So here I want to use or else through. Or else through, I want to check if the person is exist. Yes. If the person is not exist, throw an exception. Here I'm just throwing a new illegal argument, or we can throw no such element, and message person with name J is not present or not found. Yes. Let me comment this part. So now we can print the person with the exception that get age. So since person we have value, as you can see we have get age return 25, but if here we return null, then we would have an exception. no such element, and we have a mass. Next one, I'm going to talk about map person dot. So now we have an optional of a person. If the person is not null, I'm going to change a person to another object, map it to another object, a kind of one-to-one map. I'm going to map it to e equal e and then e dot get age. So here, if person is not null and it has a value, it returns age of a person, and it would change the object from person to the age. Here, look at here. If I want, I can here I cannot have a person as a return type. Why? Because now the type is integer. Int age equal and then get. But if I want to try again with the person p, as you can see, the return type is integer, is not person anymore. I'm going to print if the value is present, and then I'm going to print it that out println. With this method signature, we can print if value exists, if person is exists and the person has age. Let's see. So yeah, as you can see here, the person is null, and then we have nothing to print, but we have no error here. Now let's try again. As you can see, 25, we have the age here, and we could print the value of age with any problem. Here I want to talk about the filter, which is a useful tool in this method chain. We map the person, now we have age, which is int, and then we can filter the age value here, person age. So we say that, okay, person age, return the person if the person age is less than, assume 20. Here we have person with age 19, and then we should have that value. And here we have to get, or I prefer to use or else. I can just provide the default value. So let me make it a bit clear here. Okay, I'm going to run the code. We have 19, but if here we change the age to 25, then we run the code. As you can see here, we have the default value. Let's play with the name. I wanted to filter names start with A, for example, and then name, and then name that start with A, and then here as a default value, I just want to return nothing, and then here I can have string of name. Then so we have two name result, and then here we can print name result. Now if I print, I have nothing, empty. Here I can write default name. As you can see, we have default name, but if I change this Adam, if I run it, we have the value. Now I'm going to talk about another useful method of optional, person.if present or else. Before that, I'm going to generate toString for this method, and then come back here. So if a person is present, I'm going to print. So for if present or else, we have to provide a consumer and runnable to this method. So as a consumer, I would like to print the person. So I'm going to print with system.out and print Alan, which we implemented the toString here, so we can easily have the person. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass a runnable to this method, and which is just easy, print the default value or default message like no value found. That's all. I'm going to run. So we have a person, but if here I send a null and then run the code, the person is not present, so we have the runnable and we have printed the no value found.